channel and welcome to another day in my life vlog. As you can tell, this one's a little bit different in that today is Wednesday, February 22nd, and that's also known as Ash Wednesday for 2023, which means it is the beginning of the Christian season of Lent. And I am somebody who tries to implement Lenten practices into her spiritual growth journey every single year. And this year is no different, so I'm really excited to have already gotten started today on the things about Lent that I want to implement. But today is also just a day in my life. It's actually already noon, and I have, as you have seen, gotten up. I spent time in my She Reads Truth Lenten Bible study, which is a study of 1st and 2nd Chronicles. I thought that I was supposed to start it today, Ash Wednesday. Turns out it actually started on Monday. So I sat and I did 3 days worth of this daily Bible study, which is totally fine. But turns out, like 1st and 2nd Chronicles, my friends who are Christians, when you think of the Bible and of especially like Lenten readings and Easter and all of that, do you think of Chronicles as a place to hang out? No, I didn't either. Chronicles is a chronicle of the genealogy of basically everything. And so I literally, if you go look at 1st Chronicles and see what the first handful of chapters are. It's literally entirely names. So-and-so was son of so-and-so, was son of so-and-so, and it just goes for generations and generations. So it was a lot to absorb in the middle of my first cup of coffee this morning. I was like, wow. And what was interesting is while there were a ton of names that I didn't necessarily recognize, every once in a while we would hit a family that I absolutely did recognize, which was kind of cool to be like, oh wait, I know them. I know who we're talking about here. Okay. It's kind of a place to land and go forward. But anyway, so I started my Lenten Bible study, and then this year, my Lenten focus is entirely on cultivating the fruit of the Spirit, self-control. Those of you who have been hanging around with me for a while know that self-control is often where I admit that I struggle the most, which is, one of the reasons I'm on a weight loss journey yet again. It's one of the reasons that sometimes my goals don't get achieved. It's one of the reasons that I struggle with burnout. Self-control, self-discipline is an issue that I've had for quite some time. So you can understand why that would be my spiritual focus for the season of Lent this year. And I'm really excited to lean heavily on the spiritual discipline of self-control and leaning heavily and relying on God and my relationship with Him and Jesus and prayer and all of those things to help me rein in and cultivate this fruit of the Spirit that I feel like I lack so dramatically. For those of you that are new here, hello, my name is Brianna. I am the diva behind Diva and the Divine. Thank you for clicking on this video today. What I often share isn't always this biblically in-depth, but I am a Christian. I am a believer in Jesus and have been my entire life. And who I am is based a lot on that. And so it would be a lie of omission to not bring my faith into part of my content, even though that's not necessarily what my channel is about in and of itself. It is not a Christian channel. I am a content creator who is a Christian, but when certain things happen, I want to share about them. And so for me personally in my life, the season of Lent is a time that I really kind of change focus. That didn't sound good. So for me, the season of Lent is a time when I personally kind of lean into goals and disciplines and a whole lot of life personal changes or maybe not like changes. They're not overly dramatic, although they can feel overly dramatic at times. But all in all, I would be remiss to not share this with you. I want to share this with you. So today's the first day of Lent, and I thought I would take that opportunity to vlog today to kind of share what day one was like with you. Now, let's talk a little bit about what this means. So for me, cultivating self-discipline takes forms in many different forms. First and foremost, you're probably here because I started as a health and wellness channel, which means that and you also know that I have been struggling on and off for the last couple of years with weight that I have gained and how to get it off. And so I'm using this opportunity of Lent to really lean into fasting, not like I'm not eating fasting, but like apologies, I absolutely lost focus because I'm hearing thumping and slamming, and we are actually at the very beginning of a pretty extreme blizzard warning here in Minnesota. It's supposed to be like record level snowfalls, which if you know me, you know I'm not excited about that. But we had part 1, which was like a severe winter storm watch warning last night. And so my husband opened the door and realized that all of the wind that has been blowing our snow onto our covered patio. And so during his lunch hour, he now has the shovel and is outside like shoveling off our back patio and shoveling off our front patio because there's already so much snow accumulation due to wind and the blizzard hasn't even started yet. So it's gonna be a rough day in terms of snowfall, but what I was hearing was a bunch of thumping and I'm like, is that the wind? Should I be concerned about what's happening? So that's why I got distracted. And of course, now I completely forgot what I was talking about. So what disciplines am I focusing on? There are so many different disciplines. Of course, leaning into my health and my weight loss journey is a primary one. Why? Because that is often where I struggle with self-control a lot of the time and self-discipline in meeting all my goals and my habits and staying in my calorie range and not overindulging on the multiple treats that we have in the house. So what is that going to look like? For the period of Lent, I set my own macros. I am a nutrition coach who does macro calculations for her clients and all of that. I'm coaching myself right now and I am leaning into my body's requirement for a more extreme calorie deficit because of, well, twofold. One, we being my former coach and I have learned because of my disability, long story, blah, 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 blah. Just trust me when I say, because of my disability, my metabolism is actually slower than the normal calculated metabolism would be. So we actually have to pull my calories more dramatically than I would for somebody without a muscle wasting disease for weight loss. So I decided to lean into that and kind of go right into a more extreme calorie deficit for the 40 days of Lent, 46 days technically, but for the 40 days of Lent because they are in fact meant to be days of fasting. It's supposed to be a 6-day fasting and 1 day of feasting a week during the Lenten season from now until Easter. So I wanted to really lean into that concept quite literally. And so instead of a more moderate calorie range, I'm doing a slightly, not like crazy dramatic, not under 1200 calories, nothing like that. But it is more extreme than what my normal calculations would be. So I'm leaning into that as my food discipline and reaching my protein goal and my water and getting my steps in, regardless of not whether I feel like it, and doing my weightlifting. Discipline and control within those habits, wildly important and definitely something I'm leaning into. But of course, the whole spiritual discipline of self-control is also something I'm leaning into in that I need to regularly call upon and rely on God, pray to God, ask Him for help, ask Him for guidance, ask Him for the strength to power through and have the self-control I need to accomplish the things I want. So that's the dietary side of things. There's also my whole issue with social media in that I am a mindless scroller and I am wildly dependent on my cell phone. And so for self-control practice number 2, I actually want to limit my screen time much more dramatically than I have in the past. And I haven't quite figured out what that looks like yet. I know at minimum it looks like 24 hours of screen-free time throughout the week, not including sleeping. So I have timers set whenever I'm completely ignoring my phone, it's in another room, things like that. I have a timer running to tell me how much time I have successfully gone phone free, because that is something that I lean way too heavily into and find myself mindlessly disassociating, comparing the whole 9 yards, and it's not healthy and it's not what I need to be doing with my time. So that is a discipline that I really want to lean into. And again, rely on God for the strength and the courage and the self-control to actually achieve the thing. And then thirdly, and most importantly, the primary focus is of course the discipline in getting my quiet time in every single morning. And as you saw, I did that first thing. I left my phone in a different room and I grabbed my Bible study and I sat and I was in God's Word for about 45 minutes. And then I actually came up here and I journaled, and I started a new journal. That heart journal that I showed you guys earlier is my new journal for the season of Lent. And I'm actually treating it as both a journal and prayer journal. So everything that I journal is in conversation with God. And I journaled for 6 pages today, and I found it to be wildly effective for my soul and my mental state and communicating with God and getting my head on straight for the day. It was amazing. So that's just a little bit about what I'm doing to really lean into the overarching concept of cultivating self-control for the Lenten season. And today is day 1. In other news, in a more practical sense, what has happened today? Well, I had my breakfast. I do want to share what I'm eating today. I had my breakfast and I didn't film. Well, that's not true. I filmed a little clip of it, but I didn't actually tell you what it was. And surprise, surprise, it was an egg fold over. Egg foldovers are one of my all-time favorite breakfasts. Why? Because it is an opportunity to get really high protein, reasonably high fiber for really low calories, which I love. My foldover today consisted of 3 servings of liquid egg whites, 1 regular egg, because the fat in eggs are not bad and actually where a lot of the nutrition is. So I had an egg in there. I topped it with everything bagel seasoning, dill, and chives. Mwah. Such a solid combination. And then I used a Mission low carb tortilla tomato basil wrap. Inside I put 3 slices of Jones Canadian bacon, which is 60 calories and another 10 grams of protein. Great way to get some extra protein in. And then 1 slice of the highly processed but melts like a dream Velveeta single, like the Kraft singles, but it's Velveeta brand. I like those better than Kraft. I don't know why, couldn't tell you. And I had a handful of blueberries. And it was great. I feel really, really good about it. I'm battling a little bit of hunger right now, and I'm not ready to eat in terms of the clock yet because I'm leaning into more restriction. I have my dessert planned for the day. I have my dinner planned for the day. So I am trying to push off lunch a little bit because I literally just ate 2 hours previously to acknowledging I had hunger, and I was like, you're not actually hungry. You just ate food. You're fine. So I guzzled some water, got distracted, got ready, and I powered through the hunger, which I want to make it very, very clear that if you're ravenously hungry, you need to eat. You need to eat food. It's a clear sign that to your body that you are hungry and undernourished. But when you are in a calorie deficit, you're gonna feel a little bit hungry because you're intentionally not feeding your body the number of calories it requires to maintain its body weight. Therefore, your body's gonna be like, excuse me, hungry, please fix it. So a little bit of hunger needs to be managed. A significant amount of hunger needs to be fed, if that makes sense. So I did that, and now I actually have some stuff that I need to do. I've got some cleaning I need to do today. I have a live stream tonight where I'm gonna go more in depth into talking about the topic of Lent. So I'll actually link that right here, up there, wherever it ends up being, because by the time you see this video, the live stream obviously will have already happened. And then I actually have a discovery call for a new client today. I don't know how, but the ebbs and flows of coaching is crazy to me. And out of nowhere, my coaching has picked back up, which has been such an incredible blessing. If you are somebody who has been thinking about one-on-one coaching with me, I only have a couple of spots left before I'm actually full, which is so incredible, such a blessing. But if you were interested, you need to apply and get in ASAP, because for the month of March, we only have 4 spots left. So if you're interested, I will have the link to my application down below. And that's all I've got for now. Let's get busy with the rest of the stuff I have to do today. All right, lunch has been had. A costume change happened because, want to be professional when you're on a discovery call with somebody. And for dessert, even though, okay, so here's the truth. My goal is to not have any afternoon dessert type thing. The exception I made, I'm part of me regrets that I ate it, but the other part of me is like, no, it was absolutely necessary. With everything that I had eaten today and planned on eating today, I was still under by 22 grams of protein, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it. And I remembered I have old original formula, expired back in September, Eat Me Guilt-Free brownies. So I ate one. It was dry, it was crumbly, but it helped me meet my protein macros. So I was like, all right, if I had something like a protein brownie, something that was deliberately, its goal was to help me meet my macros, then great. But in general, wanting to have a piece of candy or an Oreo cookie or something in the afternoon is also one of the things that I want to nix for the season of Lent. But I made an exception for this because I was like, I don't know how the heck I'm supposed to do the rest of this protein macro, and I figured it out. So I got to have a brownie in the afternoon, and I got to meet my protein macro for the day, which is amazing. Now I have to get to work and be on this discovery call. Okay, so the purpose of our discovery call is just to give us an opportunity to kind of sit face to face. You get to ask any questions about one-on-one coaching and what that might entail, and I get to kind of share with you my basic program plan, and I also get to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I wanted to address based on your application. So that call was interesting. It was interesting. Really, really nice, sweet woman. But it's hard when you need to stick to your guns and stick to your beliefs and your nutritional philosophy, when it would be so easy to just tell somebody exactly what they want to hear. Oh yeah, sure, I can help you lose weight. This woman does not in any way, shape, or form need to lose weight. By all metrics, she is within a healthy weight range. She looks great. She's super active, all of those things. And yet she's flummoxed by the last 10 pounds. And this should be a video in and of itself. The final 10 pounds, wanting to be where she was 10, 15 years ago, pre-menopause instead of post-menopause, and all of these things. And I posed the question that I pose to everybody. If you could reach your body goals and this number on the scale did not change in the process, if you stayed X weight, but you lost your inches, you lost your sizes, you lost the fat you were looking to lose, would that be acceptable to you? And this person had a really hard time with that, And I stuck to my guns and was like, look, if we worked together, this is what I would do with you. And this is the stuff that I would teach you, help you with, focus on with you. And the primary thing was busting through the mindset of the scale. And I could tell that this scared her. And so I'm almost positive that I am not going to get a one-on-one client out of this, which is fine. It's fine. This is why we do the discovery calls and have the honest face-to-face conversations. But I left that call and I was like, oh, my heart kind of hurts. Not for me, for people with that same mindset, which is why my group coaching is called Mindset Over Macros, which, shameless plug, I plan on launching a new round of Mindset Over Macros. Mindset. Why do I keep calling it Mindset Over Macros? It's Mindset and Macros. I plan on launching another one at the end of March, beginning of April, which is awesome. But that's the point. The goal is to bust through the mindsets of good food versus bad food and of the scale being the only metric of progress. The scale does not have to constantly go down for you to be successful in your fat loss journey, especially if you're in that range of the last 5 to 15 pounds to lose. That was a rough one. Because I'm not quite ready to have dinner just yet because I want to push it off a little bit longer, but I'm hungry, so I'm having a snack. This was a pre-planned snack. I added this to it, which is going to cost me all of 5 calories because it's cucumber, but this is a serving of Good Culture cottage cheese. I get the low-fat version with some ranch powder mixed in there for flavor, and then this is cucumber slices that you just saw me cut up with dill pickle seasoning on top to kind of make makeshift dill pickles. So this is a nice, light, easy appetizer. This will help me meet my protein goal alongside of my dinner, which I'll show you in a little bit, and that will allow me to push off dinner until about 6 or 6:30. All right, I just got off of live stream. I'm going to link that live stream down below for you guys because I talked a lot more in depth about what I'm doing for the Lenten season. And so rather than rehash all of it out here, I'm just gonna let you go and listen to that live stream there. I did want to tell you a little bit about what I ate for the rest of the day. You saw my little appetizer, my snack of cottage cheese and cucumbers. For dinner, I actually had leftover Emily Bites chicken and wild rice soup, creamy chicken wild rice soup. But some funny story, actually. I recorded a vlog on Sunday, and it turns out that half of the clips of me talking somehow were filmed in slow motion and thus had no words and are basically unusable. And it was like half of the content of me talking because it was two long clips that I didn't realize were on the wrong setting. Still getting used to the new camera. So that being said, I filmed this little bit about my dinner and how I was going to be putting the recipe into the recipe builder on MyFitnessPal and weighing everything in grams because I changed the recipe. The original Emily Bites recipe, which I will have linked down below for you, is amazing in and of itself, but it uses fat-free half and half and light butter. And I decided one day that I didn't want to do fat-free. And so I did regular half and half and regular butter, and oh my gosh, it tasted so amazing that I've been making it like that ever since. But that means that the nutrition information that is on the website is not accurate to me anymore. So finally, I decided to take matters into my own hands and figure out the serving sizes of this soup, or the macros of this soup based on my version of her recipe. So if there's any clips that actually work, I will put them in here. Alright, so I am in the middle of making my soup right now, and here is basically what I'm doing. I'm taking every ingredient. Oh, that's weird. Look at the way it's flipping through it. It's not doing that in real life. I am weighing everything out as I go, and I'm writing it down. So, for example, the water was 586 for the 2 cups. I'm making a double batch, so everything has to be doubled. The chicken broth weighed 911 grams. I have to multiply that by 2. The chicken was 37.2 ounces. This is more than double. The recipe calls for 1 pound of chicken breast. I have 2.5 pounds in there, so a quarter pound more than normal, which is totally fine. And because I always end up going over on chicken anyway. My rice weighs 311 grams. So what I'm doing is I'm just weighing everything as I go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to total up the total grammage of the entire everything I put in the pot. And then that's going to be the number of servings. So when I weigh out my bowl of food, I can just say it's X number of servings and have the accurate nutrition information for my modified recipe, which uses regular fat half and half and regular butter instead of fat-free and light butter. All right, here's the final verdict. I added up all of the grams for all of the ingredients. So everything that went into the pot was 7,247 grams. Then I added the recipe into Recipe Builder like you normally would. And when it asks for how many servings, I put in 7,247. So then all I had to do was, this is so trippy that it does that on the screen, but not in real life. 340 grams, I touched it. It was 340 grams of soup. So then I just take the listing that I made and plug in the 300, I guess it was 341, and it gives me the total for my bowl of soup, complete with the macros. Easy peasy done, trackable, macros are already in there. It's a little bit more work up front, but you know what? It is worth it because I make this soup all the time, and this is a one and done. I never have to do it again. So that's what I had for dinner again tonight, was a generous serving, and it doesn't feel like it's that many more calories, truth be told. So I've been really enjoying that, had some of that for dinner, and then for dessert, I had 2 brownie bites with a little bit of buttercream frosting on top from Target. I bought them for Bible study on Monday, and then we forgot to bring them. So we had brownie bites at home all week, which is wonderful. And they were delicious. They were like 230 calories for 2 of them, or 260, something like that. But ultimately, that was it. I ate those around 6:30, and it has been kitchen closed ever since. Did my live stream, and now I'm done for the day. I met my macros. I met my step goal. I met my hydration goal. I met my protein goal. Thanks to that Eat Me Guilt-Free brownie, I met my protein goal. I did not read today. That was the one check mark that I didn't get around to yet. But I did my Bible study. I did journaling, and all in all, with all of the things, and not including my hour of live stream and time that I just hadn't had the timer running, I logged 3 hours and 10 minutes in my head. Sorry, I just read a text message from my mom that said in my head. I logged 3 hours and 10 minutes of phone-free time. So all in all, day 1 of self-control in Lent has been a success. So thank you so much for joining me on this little journey into Ash Wednesday 2023. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and stay around and join this amazing community that I was so lovingly reminded that I had on this live stream tonight. And thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.